Hi, everybody. This is Career Search Lunch and Learned, and I'm Linda Brubaker. And I am a career search coach, career transitions coach, still trying to figure out what I'm going to call myself, even though I've been doing this now for 8 years. As you know, things change. And so I'm trying to find that term that really talks about what it is I do and who I am. So I have over 20 years of experience in HR as an HR business partner, a hiring manager, a recruiter, both inside and outside companies, and I've managed talent acquisition. And so the information that I bring you in my 8 years as a career search coach or career transitions coach is based not only on that information, it's based on all of the information I gather from the research that I do, from connecting with colleagues, both in the recruiting world, in the hiring world, in the HR world, all of the things that I'm doing to make sure that we're providing you with the right information, the things that we know really work. That's who I am. And I do this, as I said, as a labor of love. As of yesterday morning, there were 925 of the people that I've worked with over those 8 years who've gotten offers. So one of the things the only reason that I mention that is that I know, okay, that what we're doing works. The advice we're giving you works. This is my give back. In addition to that give back work, I support that give back work with private coaching. And so I'm happy to work with anybody. I'm going to put my information in the chat. Happy to work with people throughout their career search, but it's not a requirement to do that to be part of this group. But if you are working with me, I'd appreciate the shout out. But we want to be able to make sure that we can be here to support you in any way that we can. I'm going to welcome to our group, okay, Ken Lang and Sue Griffey, okay, who are here to support you as well. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves too.
Think I'm ahead of Ken, but I only see one person, Linda.
Because I can't.
That's okay.
Here we go.
Great, thanks. I am known as Sue Mentors in the virtual world, and most importantly, before I put it in the chat already, I'll do it again. I bring the pom-poms, and this is to remind us all to celebrate, even when we don't think we have something to celebrate. I want to remind you, just by showing up here, you're already taking steps towards increasing the way that you're getting curated information so that you can decide about your professional development. I've been mentioning this more and more on Lunch and Learns and everywhere else. I'd love it if you wouldn't just sit back and learn, but also tell us what you're learning and what you're planning to take forward. Sometimes just writing one thing in the chat about, I'm planning to take Venice's information on X forward when I leave here today, will help put it in your brain, and this isn't right anatomically, but the forward part of your brain, so you'll make it happen. I'm happy to help out. Linda and Ken and I love to be able to also give you other perspectives and let you have a chance to ask for experts like we have today. So I will stop and pass this to Ken. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Kenneth Lang here from Wayne, New Jersey. Pardon me for being a little bit underdressed. I just finished a medical procedure about 3 hours ago. So this is how I am right now, just kind of chilling out a little bit.
The hoodie looks great on you, Ken.
I agree. I thought you were just reacting to the weather.
No, well, here's the thing. It's in the 60s here today. It's been the 80s the last couple of days.
I know.
I'm here to support all of you. I'm going to be rolling off as a group branding specialist to Leah Harrison because they're going in a different direction with what they're looking to do. It has given me some insights, though, the last 3 years into what they do at Leah Harrison. My most recent task, I'll be starting with the state of New Jersey as a small business counselor, and that came through networking. Have no idea how they found me exactly, but one thing led to another. But I'm here to support you, Linda and Sue. Most recently, what I've been doing is I've been focusing my search for other people because I do get leads all the time. And since the more I know about you, the more I can help support all of you. And I'm not talking about the offshore thing. I'm talking about people that actually have jobs, that they rely on people like myself to fill the jobs. So the more I know about you, the better. I'm also going to be doing group sessions with coaches because we have to really figure out what's going on with LinkedIn, with job search and everything else. And most recently, I just did a post today about the once again algorithm, which is changing. This time, LinkedIn's own engineering team put it together. So it's common knowledge now. And what I did is I put the 70-page document into a ChatGPT and I broke it down 3 or 4 times. So I recommend you look at the post today. Basically, what they're saying are 3 things: focus on engagement, be consistent with what you do, and bring something specific that is helpful in what you do. Don't try to be all over the place. The other things, well, I'm not sure how much of them are really relevant or not now. We'll see. But another thing I found out, LinkedIn is, if you're finding issues with LinkedIn, it's because this is all being rolled out behind the scenes. So I'm here to help support you and everyone else here. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. And I saw that post this morning. Those comments were so important because they really do help us to figure out what it is we need to do
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. And to be honest, this is one of the first times I've seen LinkedIn people themselves talk about what that algorithm is all about.
Yeah, I think the challenge is that, and I actually read the 70-page document that was put out, and I scrolled through it, and there's a lot of information there. It's based on basically what they want the platform to be. They're not really addressing so much the specifics as to the bots and the automation yet, but I did find out that they are knocking out quite a few automated profiles behind the scenes. It's just that it's so overwhelming. And I will say this, the goal should be for all of you to be consistent, post every once in a while, but everything now is keyword driven too. So I'm actually going to go back to my about section. I'm going to go back to my jobs and I'm going to go keyword crazy because I think that's what the algorithm wants. Keywords, keywords. If you can't be found, it doesn't matter. But like I said, look at the look at the and the good thing will be is if you look at that and you comment and I comment back, that's where engagement comes in. The LinkedIn gets the aha, well, this is an important post. So that's my contribution before we get going.
I think that's great. And that's great advice for everybody. Remember, it's engagement, it's keywords. Now, going keyword crazy is an important thing, but don't try and do the keywords just for the sake of the algorithm.
Right.
It has to make sense for what you're doing. It has to make sense in terms of the content that you're sharing.
It has to be
Please,
specific to what you want to do. You can't go 5 different directions, which I've been guilty of.
me too.
You have to be very focused on what you want to do. Don't try to be something for everyone.
Absolutely. And the idea is you want to make sure that you're posting, you're commenting in ways that make you stand out for what it is you want to do. Please don't post just for the algorithm. Please don't post for engagement. Post for content. People will find you, you will be found. And don't just add keywords for the sake of adding keywords. Perfect. Okay. For those of you who've been here before, you know that what we do is we start with some quick wins. So if you have a quick win, please raise your digital hand. I know that we've got at least 4 new people. If you have questions as we move forward, please write the word question all in caps in the chat so that we can help find you as you move forward. Okay. But if you have a quick win, please raise your digital hand and let's share it with you and support you. Karen.
Oh, thanks, Linda.
Uh-huh.
I had a interview the other, I guess, Friday. Well, first I had a screening interview with the HR person, and then I had an interview on Friday that I thought went reasonably well, but I haven't heard anything yet, so hard to say, but I was happy to have the interview. And I also spoke with somebody at my state's workforce, I don't know, whatever they're called, um, um, to prep for the interview. So I was happy that I did that as well.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Anyone else have a quick win? Looking for the other hands up. I see one over here. Is that, no, you're clapping over there. Okay. Hi, Chandra. Did I say that right? Chandra, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I apologize.
It's okay.
Trying to find a mute. I did attend a job fair last Thursday, and I was let go from my other job on Friday, and which I'm pretty bummed out about. And on Monday, let me put my hand down. On Monday, I got a call from a different company, and they it was a mini interview. It went pretty well.
Good. Well, congratulations. So when you say that you lost your job on Friday, were you laid off?
Yeah.
All right, then I want you to change your own narrative. You didn't lose your job, the job lost you.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's an important thing to remember, is that you did nothing wrong. Layoffs happen. It's the economy, it's the company, it's roles changing, but it is not you. And so when you change that narrative, and I know it's hard, but it helps you change the way you think about things and the way you react.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Congratulations on what's moving forward. Anybody else have another quick one? Okay. We have several new people. I'd really like to be able to get to our topic today. So if you're new, okay, and you want to raise your digital hand and you can give us your 30-second introduction, okay, that would be great. So if you want to raise your digital hand and introduce yourself to us, please do so. But you have to raise your digital hand and you turn on your camera. Okay, David.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Or good afternoon. It's nice to meet everybody. My name is David Spitz. I've been working in marketing, digital experience, marketing technology for a number of years. I'm currently contracting for Humana, but my contract is ending pretty soon. I was hoping to get converted to full time, but there's been a large transformation occurring at the company. So that is unfortunately not possible. And I'm anticipating re-entering the job market very soon, looking for very similar roles. Doesn't have to be a people leader, happy to be an individual contributor. But in any industry is okay with me. I do live in the Chicago area. And then one last thing I want to say really quick. Sue, every time you talk, your voice reminds me of Kim Scott, who's the author of Radical Candor. I don't know why, but you guys sound so much alike. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, I think. Welcome to the group. Sorry that you're here, but we're happy that you're here, if that makes any sense. By the way, if you're in a contract role, always be looking. Don't stop. Okay? So always be on the job market, always be on the lookout for the right opportunity, so keep applying. Anyone else who's new here would like to introduce themselves? I see Caitlin and Brett, okay? Martin, okay? Go ahead.
Yes, hello. My name is Martin Zapata. I've been in IT for basically my entire life. I love working with technologies and found myself on the opposite side of the economy with corporate layoffs earlier this summer, but taking advantage of the time to start converting my experience into valuable content that I'm now posting, partly to be visible to individuals that need that information. But I am looking for opportunities within the IT space to help lead groups in either transforming IT for a business or what I see more often is stabilization and how to actually implement consistent methodologies across the board. So I love taking chaos and turning it into order. So I am available, but using this time wisely as far as I can tell. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you and welcome. I see Caitlin, Brett, Laura, would you like to introduce yourselves? Jason, I know you've been here before, so this is not a new one. We'll get to you later, if that's okay. Anyone else interested in introducing themselves quickly?
This is Caitlin. I can try. I'm having technical issues.
That's okay. Just talk to us.
Okay. As long as you can hear me all right, we'll run with it.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Clinical leader and educator within the hospital space, most recently working as a manager for a hospice organization. And I speak on cognitive science and trauma science and how it affects communication in healthcare. I am desperately trying to find something that actually combines all of my off work with my actual in-office work. So I'm doing one job instead of two.
That would be a nice thing, right?
I thought maybe, yes.
Sounds good. Let us know how we can support you.
Thank
Lori,
you.
would you like to join us on screen today?
I'm going to pass on screen today.
That's okay.
I'm not in a place to share my background, but just want to say hello to everyone. Lori Lopez, worked in the tech industry for the last 20 years for Fortune 100 companies. I specialize in marketing and branding, and looking for something in the Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon metro area. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Brett, are you here?
Yes,
Perfect. Would you like to introduce yourself?
sure. Thank you for having me. My name is Brett Rotman. I'm looking for a role in financial services, either sales or financial analysis. I come out of investment banking and looking to get back into the workforce after a few years out. Yeah, that's maybe looking into industries like fintech to get back in. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, we're now going to get into the rest of it. Now, Jason, you had a quick question before we go. Okay.
Yeah, it was more just a quick win. I know we were
Oh,
very
quick win.
briefly.
Perfect.
Yeah, just real. I know I've been here, so it wasn't necessarily to introduce myself.
That's okay.
So this may actually not sound as like a quick win, but it was in regards to getting feedback back from a recruiter after interviewing and getting rejected. So somewhat of a moment to lift me up, but also maybe others, because I think generally recruiters and hiring teams don't like, for legal reasons or otherwise, don't like to give feedback on an interview process. So I did interview with a company, actually a competitor from a company that I used to work for a couple of years ago, who is actually the #1 leader in the space. And I had a great interview with the recruiter as well as the second round with the hiring manager. And I got an email back. It was a rejection, but the email basically stated that the hiring manager thought that this specific role would be too much of a step down, and that they thought that if I had been in the role, that I would end up bored in the position. And so I was trying to kind of figure out how to respond back, but appreciated the fact that I got feedback. I will say I've purposely been applying to lower level positions, one, just to re-enter the workforce in marketing, and two, my belief is, I'm happy to take lower level positions, and then if position at that company opens up down the road, happy to kind of jump on if it made sense into that higher level position. But I will say I've had these sort of responses before where I've interviewed and the feedback, if I get feedback, is, it's too low of a position for you. You're going to get bored, and we don't think it's a fit because of that. So I see this as win in regards to getting feedback, but any sort of thoughts or opinions on, one, getting a response, and two, having the response be such where I'm told it's too low a position and that I should kind of in an indirect way be applying to positions that are more aligned with my background, which are higher level positions than this specific one.
Got it. So let me give you my take, and then Sue and Ken, if you'd like to be able to chime in as well. We're going to see that a lot. It's up to you to tell them why you're applying for that position and why this is the role you want right now. Talk about your mentoring. Talk about wanting to be that individual contributor because you've been there, in effect, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. This is what you want to concentrate on right now and the skills that you bring to this role. Okay, because it's important to be able to show why you're doing it. It's not just because you're applying willy-nilly. You're really trying to do this as a way of demonstrating what you can do for the role. So you're bringing your skills, your experience. You wouldn't be applying for the job if it wasn't one you really wanted to take. But it's up to you to tell them that that's what it is. Okay, if you don't, they're going to come back and say you're right. Okay, you're overqualified for this role. Why are you here?
Yeah.
But your cover letter, your resume, and any conversations that you have need to focus in on why you are applying for this role at this level.
Yeah.
Okay. And even your resume needs to focus in on what you can do for this job, not those higher level accomplishments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
I'm basically underscoring everything Linda just said, because she said cover letter, resume, you want it addressed excuse me, not as in, I know I'm applying for a lower level job, but exactly what she said. Weave a story in those first 3 to 5 lines about your story, about now that I have this experience, I'm in a position to take it forward, and I'm looking for how I can help organizations take X and Y forward as a mentor, and well, blah, blah, blah. Then the cover letter is more like sort of at the end. While it seems odd to see me applying for this as a lower level position, it is exactly how I want to fit into pay it forward, or whatever words you want to use. I'm just saying you have to be a little more formal in the resume. And I saw Sherry raised her hand immediately.
Right.
She has a lot of HR experience. So I'll step off the stage
So,
and let her.
no, I just want to
contribute.
add one more thing. I wouldn't ever use the word I'm applying for a lower level position.
Oh, okay, great, Linda.
And the
Thank
reason
you.
for that is that it looks as though you are taking that step back, and you are, okay? But you're emphasizing the fact that it's lower level. What I would do instead is saying, this is the kind of a role that I am specifically looking for.
Perfect.
Okay, it's at this point in my career, you know, I've done those management things. I don't want to do those anymore. I want to be in this individual the contributor role where I can focus on the work and mentoring other people moving forward, and what I can bring to the organization. Sherry, did you have something to add to this?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not going to repeat everything you guys just said, but another thing is where you can to add where you guys said something about the mentoring and the training and all that kind of stuff. First of all, I don't get bored. You know, that's how, you know, if I get to a point where I'm like all caught up with my work, you know, things like that, that's when I start looking around going, okay, how can I make something better? Can I create a standard operating procedure? Can I train my employees on something? You know, things like that. You know, you guys already said the mentoring and the training, but it's like, okay, because there's going to be times when your team is struggling to keep up with deadlines. And being in marketing myself, you know, everything's marketing driven or deadline driven. But if you put a process together, you know, to help people speed up their projects, that is something that I think that they would be like, oh, wow. Okay. So I love what he's saying.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Raymond, did you have something to add to this conversation, or do you have another question?
I did, very briefly, Jason, and something that Linda, you touched on was, you know, being focused on the role. A senior level person that I have been part of the networking world was specifically asked this type of question. He's a senior marketing person going for a lower role, and his response that got him to go forward was more specific on, I'm focused on delivery. So he really locked in on the execution, not so much, you know, this or this, but really like, and here's the type of projects I was asked to do. Or you could mention, I took on some things that I wasn't asked to do, and this is how I delivered. So because we're going to get into any role, and all of a sudden someone's going to come across your desk and you're like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm the person that's tasked with executing. So if you can respond in that response, I get this sense that you've already been rejected. So this is a follow-up email you're considering. But in the future state, it's more like, I don't really care about that. I'm really focused on execution, delivery, and what I can bring to the table. Because if you stack those wins, then maybe the door opens up for other opportunities, but really focused on the delivery piece.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that even in your resume, okay, as we talk about the things that are important for the role, it is for the role, not the best things you've ever done, not the things you are most proud of, not the highest level. It is what you can do for this particular role. So you set the stage right off the bat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Sherry.
Another thing is, okay, so another job coach, who I'm not going to say who it is, but okay, so you're not joining the position, you're joining the company. Okay, so it's like, okay, so I'm starting here, you know, but I'm going to go to there. You know what I mean?
No, honestly, in this job market, Sherry, I don't want to know where you want to go future. If I'm
Okay.
putting on my recruiting hat, if I'm putting on my hiring manager hat, I want to know that you want to do this job
Okay. Good
and
point.
this job only.
Okay.
Okay.
Good point.
And that, Jason, is going to help counter that idea of you're going to be bored. I really want to do this job. This is what I'm focused on.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Sometimes we give contrary views, but you want to hear things from all different kinds of perspectives.
Right.
Okay, so now we're in the idea of that whole idea about resume reviews. And if somebody has a specific question about their resume, I see Raymond, you have one. Okay, would you like to share your question?
Yes, I would. Thanks, Linda.
Sure,
I
I can find
participated.
you.
Yep. I've been on a couple of your calls and have certainly heard your stance on crafting unique resumes as well as the highlight section, or some people put executive summary before the professional experience areas. My question is specifically about when you have to go to a corporate website, the first step normally is upload your resume. And then it will say, you can either manually fill in these next stages or it will populate from the resume. Typically, though, these corporate sites all start with where you're populating is your experience. And you're filling out experience education. So that top level, this is where my question is. The accomplishments and or executive summary, they don't get loaded.
Okay.
You're going to give me a big reveal here of like, where does that? Because that section is nowhere to be populated specifically. Your fingers are crossed that the ATS screens that, but please.
Okay, Sue, you want to go ahead? Sue, on mute.
I'm clicking all the buttons and they didn't work. Thank you. It's their fault, not mine. Raymond, so you get a lot of the points right, but remember that we have to have a resume that serves two purposes. An automated scanning system. It's no more than looking for things like experience, dates and times and whatever. You also have to be able to have information there that someone can scan the on-screen version when they're scanning it, that you take control of your story. So your first story is not the most recent experience. It's what you want to project, your title, your key achievements, why, what direction you're going in by giving the evidence, just like you said a few minutes ago about showing you can deliver. So you're not, if you want to totally change the resume to what it used to be in the old days, where even before objective statements, there was nothing. There was your heading information, contact me here, and Sue did this and Sue did that. That was the old days. But that's not going to get you people's interest because they need something that can scan down the left margin of your screen if you pass the ATS for them to scan, and that's where you tell your story.
That's the question. Does this stuff get ignored in the ATS and you're hoping that a human being then sees it? That's what the disconnect is.
It doesn't get ignored. It just doesn't get it. Where they put it in and when it puts it in and how you upload it makes no difference. Remember, it's like LinkedIn. It's a huge database, and someone behind the scenes is scoring it and saying we want work experience and all that. So I'm going to stop there because we have other experts.
Say, if you attach your resume on top of that, that's a whole other thing where it goes through. It's not just when you populate the fields. So you populate the fields from your resume, and that's how it parses it out based on whatever their ATS is. But if you attach a resume, that goes into a whole different place. And then it's going to be broken out by whatever their ATS is. There's hundreds of them out there. And then they're going to find the keywords that are there, and they'll look at the two of those together. The same with the cover letter. You're only looking at this from a job seeker perspective. You don't necessarily see the back end. I've seen the back end.
That's my question.
I'm sure Sue has. I'm sure Linda has. And there's all sorts of things that go on behind the scenes that you don't see. But that's why it's important to have. That's why a cover letter, that may serve the purpose. They may never see it, but again, it doesn't hurt to put it on there.
The ATS reads it. So here's the thing.
Yes.
Okay, from a recruiter hiring manager standpoint, I don't read that application that you just submitted. Okay, that information goes into the ATS, into my electronic file cabinet. But that ATS is also going to be reading your resume and your cover letter. When I pull things out, when I do my search in that ATS, it's going to be pulling out keywords. It's going to be pulling out that information from the whole thing, not just from the application.
And then in some cases, they actually will have a LinkedIn link where you can put your profile up to the ATS from your LinkedIn profile, and it will parse it for you.
Right.
Again, it doesn't, there's no one, but these are all just things to think about. It's not just the old, I'm just uploading and it's parsing
And
out.
yep, thanks, Linda and team. You've answered that question. Not only is the ATS normally, typically, whatever you want to say, screening what you've double populated, but they're going back to the resume, and that's what I was just concerned that section is being missed by.
They go back to the cover letter, and not only that, as somebody who has pulled those resumes from an ATS, what I love about them, okay, and I hate ATSs, but here's what I do like, is that if I put in my search term and I'm then pulling up your information, that search term is going to be highlighted in yellow for me on your resume and on your cover letter, so that I can specifically see where that is. Okay. But it's an electronic file cabinet. So everything you upload, if the machine can read it, and if that means plain, dull, boring Word format, okay, but or a PDF, but again, plain, dull, boring, straightforward format, then if it can read it, I can find it.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks, team.
Next. Do we have other questions? Or does somebody have a question specifically about their own resume? Because we said we would. Okay. Denise.
Hi, happy, healthy New Year to those who observe. It's good seeing you all. Linda, Ken, Sue, who else is on here who knows me? You know me for over a year now. And I've been landing interviews. I am a returner to the workforce. I've heard, shout out, you're a returner to workforce. Keep quiet, you're a returner to the workforce. I've had my resume done over more times than I can count. I've been doing everything everybody is saying. Someone just approached me now for a screening interview, so I'm happy about that, that work is paying off. It's still not hitting that spot of, I have been advocating for my daughter. I have been advocating for others. I want to return to the workforce. I want to serve. I want to get involved in customer services. What is your thinking? Because I know I'm not the only one. In returners to the workforce, do we still put our experience as freelance work? Do we shout it out? Because I feel like, you know, people have more office and corporate experience than me, but yet I still have something. I still have decades of experience. I'm saying over 10 years of experience. I'm hitting all the points of my core skills, but I'm not landing the roles. And then it's the whole thing with the XYZ, and it's taking my resume and taking the job description and putting it into ChatGPT. I could help other people get a job, but I feel like I don't have the credibility because I don't have a job yet. Like, what are your thoughts on people who are returning? And there are different organizations. I reach out to the organizations. What are your thoughts on returns to the workforce? Do we have to still stick with the gig economy? It's all about networking. I've been networking, I've been pitching, I've been getting my message across. It's clear I want to help people. It's clear I want to solve problems. It's clear I have the skills to solve problems. But I'd like to know, and I appreciate the quote unquote spotlight. What are your thoughts on caregivers in my situation who have so much to offer, but still haven't hit that sweet spot yet?
Well, I thought Ken would unmute, so I'm going to lead into Ken. Here's the thing.
Ladies first.
No, that's okay. No, because Ken, so Denise, you bring up a really important point, and I've talked about this twice in the last couple of years. Ken talks about it all the time, portfolio careers. You are not in the gig economy. You are not on the caregiver side on the side. I mean, you have to weave a story. And Ken just did a poll on this like 3 days ago. When do you think the job's going to get better? I think I voted. I started to, Ken, I may not have checked it, but it was late 2026 if we're lucky. So you are in a sense ahead of the game. But what you need to do is take the title from Mindy Stern's book. You are the CEO of your career.
Right.
You're marketing yourself well, but what you're not doing is pulling together all the disparate pieces because no one teaches you how to do this in school. They don't even teach you on some of these webinars I go to. How and in what way do you soft pedal in a way the caregiving? You talk about being the CEO at home. You talk about doing all the financial stuff.
And I have clients, like I've helped clients.
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
have that.
People who know how to go to
experience.
Medicare and get forms filled in the same day. That's a huge skill. So I'm going to turn it over to Ken because he has more direct experience on this. But I want us all to think differently about how we take our work forward now. And it is not side hustle, gig economy. Raise your credibility, please.
I mean, it used to be that you would have a full-time job, full-time permanent job, and that doesn't happen anymore. And then it was like, well, here's 6 to 12 month contracts, which of course may only be 3 months. And that's just the way it is. A lot of people take multiple part-time positions. They kind of figure out what makes sense for them. They may do multiple things at one time. And you have the ability with that to kind of pick and choose as to what you want to do. Now,
I know that.
part of it is going to be figuring out what you are looking for. Is it a project-based thing? Is it an hourly-based thing? There may be places out there that only need 10 to 12 hours worth of work, and that might be great multiplying with 2 or 3 other people. And you don't want to, you have, and I call myself empathetic because I am empathetic.
That's
and
my superpower.
and that's that's a great thing. My superpower is being empathetic, and you may find a lot of small, but the trick is to find out where do those places exist.
Right.
I mean, we can all talk the talk here.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that.
So it's really about figuring out where to find the jobs, and that's where you ask other people. Don't forget, and Denise, we've had conversations before. I've had conversations with other people. It's a mindset thing.
I work on my mindset every day. I tell everybody else about mindset. I give them audios to listen to about mindset. We're
Do you
all
ever
the
post
same
about?
page.
Do you post about it on LinkedIn? Do you ever share that on LinkedIn?
Do I ever share mindset on LinkedIn? A couple of times. I need to do it more.
Well, that's if you do that on a once-a-week basis, people think about you. You're the mindset person.
Okay.
I can get pumped up from reading your comments or engaging in other people's, because then you're going to get that persona, not just here in a group like this, but elsewhere.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so one more thing is that in those areas, when you're talking about that caregiving, don't focus in on the caregiving, focus in on the skills that you've learned that you can carry forward.
I have.
Okay, so make sure that you're doing that, and I think that will help you as well.
The project management, the working with call centers or customer service or a customer service advocate. Again, I'm just whatever it is. Those are all things that are needed skills.
Right.
Yep.
You can sift through the red tape to get stuff done. However you want to portray that.
One question. You mentioned customer service. You have the project management programs, the PMPs, and then you have the advanced PMPs. What is your suggestion on upskilling on that? Or do I wait until I get hired and see where I get hired? Like, how important is that PMP?
The best way you
looking for. Go ahead. Sorry, Sue. Go ahead.
The best way you can figure that out is take job descriptions, the job postings, and look for whether they're requiring a PMP or
That's
say
what
preferred.
I've done, and so far they haven't.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and what I'm seeing is there are some jobs that will have it, but there's also people are conflating taking a project management course with the actual certification. So it doesn't require certification by the Project Management Institute, PMI, to have the PMP. I don't have it, but I have good project management skills and I can show the experience.
Right.
So you don't want to worry. I hesitate when people say I need to upskill because I want to make sure you're doing things that are going to further your career.
That's
So
why I
want,
haven't done it
yeah,
yet.
It's
We're
like this.
all on the
exactly.
same page, and I don't mean to
Yeah.
sound like a yes person, but I feel like I know you all well enough to just
Mhm.
be vulnerable and say, I am not yesing you all to death. I'm getting the interviews. I'm just not hitting that sweet spot.
I would also
So,
join your PA. There's a project management institutes all over the country.
Yeah.
I would recommend, like, I work with one in New Jersey and I volunteer there. I am not a PMP and I never wanted to be a PMP because
No.
for me it wasn't beneficial.
right, that's
That's
why I
just a
haven't
piece
done
of
it.
paper. But if you
Right.
you may find similar people there in your situation, and the more you do, and even if you volunteer at a PMP as a starting point or whatever it is, you got to get out there. And I know you're doing a lot of the right things. Don't misunderstand. I just think it's about just thinking about what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, I saw a question in the chat about cover letters. Okay, I think several of us have answered it already in the chat. I don't remember who asked the question, sorry.
Sandra has a good comment here, doing a daily 10 to 15-second mindset video in a post.
Sorry.
That
Go
is an
ahead, Ken.
excellent idea. To do that. Videos are really great, and you can share. Don't be afraid to put yourself out that way. Yeah.
And honestly, don't worry about the video being well polished. If you look at mine aren't. Okay. Many people are worried more about the style of the video. You don't need to do that. I want you to be authentic in your videos. And that means the video is you as you talk. Okay. But it's another way of doing it. In fact, one of my suggestions might be, we talk a lot about, I saw something about the cover letter and doing a post about it. I would do a video. Okay. You can all do a video introduction of yourself. Pin it to your featured section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't send a video to a company. Most companies will reject them offhand. In fact, your email may never go through because of their security systems. But if you do a video introduction of yourself, okay, make it relatively short, no more than a minute or a minute or two. I wouldn't go beyond that.
Yeah.
But your significant highlights, it's a good way of introducing yourself and making yourself stand out. But back to the cover letter. Daniel, do you have questions about it you want to share with us?
No questions. I appreciate the feedback from all of you. It is helpful. I was working with a career counselor and I was talking about cover letters, and she felt strongly about only including them if it's like a dream type of job, but otherwise to not bother.
Have it there each and every time, even if it doesn't ask for one. And if there's a place only to upload one document, they are so important, Daniel, that I would make your cover letter a page of your resume for that submission, period.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Linda, can I just add, because I looked at this again last year, the specs have not changed on cover letters. I learned this, Ken, you know her from Absolutely Abby way back in 2019.
Yep.
Cover letters, 30% are required, 30% it's up to you, and 30% don't mention it. Same percentages about who reads them. 30% of recruiters read them if they're attached, 30% if they're required, 30% they're more likely to read them if they're attached and required. If you submitted and it wasn't required, they're very likely to read it. So you're already up at 60% chance of it. And I put a comment that I often remind people. Your cover letter isn't just something you have to write. It is you reworking your story in a way you want to tell it so that you can emphasize and bring together, here's how I match this big thing. Because our reverse cron resume doesn't say all these things weave together for that one top thing in your job posting. So this is your chance to tell people that. So I know it feels like grunt work. It's a little easier now with the LLMs we have, but think about it as preparing you for your interviews, your introductions in networking, verbally, and writing. All of these things is what you get out of a cover letter.
Right. And so the cover letter actually should not be a repeat of what's in your resume. Your resume is that objective piece. Here's the job, here's how I match. The cover letter, if you want your cover letter to really make a difference, it may highlight one or two things, But for the most part, it tells your story. Why is this role important to you? What do you bring that nobody else does? How did you get here? It's that pre-answer to why you, why this company, why this role. They're short, but they tell your story. The resume is the objective piece. The cover letter is you. And it's another way of me seeing how you write and how you communicate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Next. Okay. Sandra.
I'm going to offer a quick tip, and this is what I have done in helping others in their job search. Take the position description, the job description, and upload it into your favorite AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever it is that you're working with. That particular job description, upload it, ask your AI to define or find out what problems does the company want solved with this job description. And then it will list all the problems that you are solving. And then you can tailor your cover letter to address how you would solve those problems. And then this is also a good preparation for you to start thinking about the interview process. How are you going to speak from your own experience, your skills, your talents, your abilities on how you're going to be solving those problems? Just a little tip. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And cover letters are short. You're really only talking 2 to 3 short paragraphs. And by the way, the last line of every cover letter, the last line of every follow-up that you send is, I am looking forward to talking with you. The best way to reach me is. It's called a soft close. Okay? You're making the assumption that they're going to reach out to you. Thanks, Sandra. Pam.
There. How are you?
Good.
So I got a rejection this morning that kind of blows up the apply if you match 85% of the skills. And it's super frustrating. It said, after reviewing your application, we don't feel we have an exact match and won't be moving forward in the interview process. So all those jobs that I've been applying for that are match 85% or better.
Still do it.
Better? What do you do? How do you get across transferable skills? I owned a business. I founded a business. I grew a business. I ran a business for 25 years. I would never say 25 years. I say 15. But if I listed every single thing I did in that business, my resume would be a novel. Go.
Well, Linda, one thing that we have to remember about the ATS is not everything is equal. We don't know what their scoring criteria are. That's the problem. You're trying to match something with no, it's like playing a baseball game and not knowing the rules. The other side doesn't know the rules or whatever. I don't know. I'm mixing that. Can I leave that to
the
you?
rules change on the fly.
Mixing metaphors, that's fine.
So it's really, how are they weighting it? It may not be an exact match for something that looked like one line in the job posting. I've seen this over and over again from the few people that get feedback. One line was the thing they really wanted, and it was number 4 on the list. So don't beat yourself up.
There was an application I did yesterday. It was similar, where I read the JD very carefully. My resume was good. My cover letter was good. I get to the part where I'm submitting it and they ask the knockout questions. And they asked a question in there about how many years experience do you have with XYZ? That was nowhere in the job description. So I wouldn't have spent an hour and a half redoing all my stuff if they'd have put that in the JD.
I know. Were you applying on the company website?
For wine?
It's got to be 5 o'clock someplace. Besides, right? We
Yes,
are, in
no
fact,
day drinking.
okay, no, but we can whine, W-H-I-N-E. Okay,
Trying not to really.
as long as what we are doing is recommending that we do that for just a minute and then we move on and try and find something else. Okay. The WHINE sometimes works for short periods to try and get it out. I would say go ahead and do it anyway. I don't know what was going on there when you were applying and you were getting that response back. How many years do you have with this? Was that on the company website that you were applying?
Yeah, absolutely. I only apply on company websites because.
Do you
So
ever
if they were
try
doing
to
that,
find someone at the company after that to see to kind of remind them that maybe you applied for position A, B, C, D, whether you go on LinkedIn and do a search for a
I'm pretty sure I did. That's standard practice for me. You know, I find the
Okay.
job, I look for somebody.
Uh-huh.
And I think this was probably someone I didn't have anybody at, like only third levels. And it wasn't necessarily a job that I strongly desired to get. I mean, some jobs I you know, are life and death, so to speak. This one wasn't that. I will say that I did something different with my resume yesterday based on a discussion. I think you guys are going to laugh at me, but I'm okay with that. There was a discussion that the people who get jobs are people who get interviews maybe have a little more narcissism in them than others of us who are not getting picked. And so I used AI. Sandra, you're going to love this. I threw my resume into AI and I told it that it was that I asked it to rewrite my resume as if I were a narcissist. And then I had to do it a few times because I had to adjust it, but I will tell you that I sound amazing now. And it did have to be pruned a bit because some of it, you know, it asked at one point if I wanted to be Marvel level, you know, evil in my narcissism, or if I just wanted to be sort of plausibly believable. Maybe I'm too humble. But my executive summary sounds way better now. It was kind of cool.
yeah. I think many of us hold ourselves back because we don't blow our own horn.
Yeah.
And you really have to remember that you are the only one who knows you.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter whether you're running it through an AI or not, it has to be you. But talking about who you are and what you do, don't hold yourself back.
It's hard.
What is it? My mother used to say, don't hide your light under a bushel.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't tell people, how are they ever going to know?
Yeah. And I'm happy to share these two with anybody who wants to see the difference in them.
Yes.
So I know you're going to want to see it.
Yes. I'm reaching out to you. We might be connected, but still.
Ping me on LinkedIn. I'll send them.
I think as well as what I just said about criteria in the ATS, we forget it's one person or two people looking at your resume. I mean, we can't even find on dating websites people we're compatible with. So jobs are like that. I mean, think about all the individuals, especially me. I'm an older individual I got set things I want or whatever. So again, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I definitely find people undersell themselves generally. Even some big wigs, and there are other people who totally oversell themselves. But underselling yourself is not being a braggart. It's using your facts and your evidence. So remember that you only control your side of the convo, and you have no idea who's reading on the other side. So I'm sorry, Pam, for all of this, but it's something I'm hearing almost daily from all the people I work with there. And you're right, you get discouraged. Denise was saying she's getting discouraged. Of course you all are, but you're showing up here trying to learn differently. And Ken and Linda and I know, like in the last 6 months, there have been, I think, huge shifts in LinkedIn and also in not necessarily the job applying process, but how it's being responded to and how much less communication and more angst talent acquisition folks are going through about how much they're going to automate, how much AI they're going to use. And so their consternation is causing us consternation and development. And that's why Ken posted that poll. When is this going to solve? When is this going to end? Ken, have you got the results of that poll yet?
I don't think it's finished running yet, but I think
okay.
everyone is kind of hamstrung by AI. I don't think AI is the magic bullet here. I don't think any of us do, but it's it's the latest shiny toy.
Yeah.
And so many companies are trying to figure out AI, and they're going to find out after a while it doesn't work. Because and I think I made a joke about this. It's going to be bot hiring and an AI person just hiring a bot on the other end. I mean, I'm going to have my bot do the video interview for the AI person. Why do I have to show up? I mean, and that actually could happen. I mean, it's scary that way.
And a lot of what I'm hearing is that companies, higher level people within the companies are pushing it. HR is fighting against it, not because it's a change in what they do and they have to learn something new, but because they know from a hiring perspective, it really doesn't work. Okay. It can provide them with some information. It is not the substitute.
That's what the same thing happened with ATSs. I remember when I was at a company, they were interviewing ATS vendors, and a bunch of us said, forget it. I'd rather do it myself, because we were a small enough company to do that. Because they were telling all the bells and whistles. Well, that's wonderful, but what's in it for us as a company? And it's a sell job.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. It's that shiny new toy.
Yep.
It's not the be all end all. And as I said, HR, the good HR people recognize that and are fighting against it in many ways. Okay. It's going to be around to stay in the sense of doing some of the work with the ATSs. But from what I'm hearing from the HR side of things, from all the HR organizations to which I belong, they see that as a short-term blip, right? Put them together. But they see this as, we know that if we're going to be hiring people, that we need to have the people back in that hiring process.
I mean, at some point, they're going to just use their AIs to learn about you. What's the point of sending a resume? Everything about you is online.
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, I've heard some discussions about that.
Yeah. It is a strange new world out there, and I'm not sure I like all of it.
Nope. Well.
All right. Jim, you have a question.
Yes. Thank you. I had a question for Sandra when she was talking about using the ChatGPT or something. I went to grab my notepad and a pen, and by the time I got there, you finished your suggestion, and I forgot all the details. So if you can, put that in the chat or something, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
I'll tell you right now, and it's very simple and quick. Upload the job description to your favorite AI and instruct it to identify all the problems that this position will be solving. Simple.
And then I would take it one step further. How will you be able to solve those problems?
Yeah.
It's not just the it's like, how can I do what the AI is telling me?
Right. The AI is the research tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's you that has to make those decisions and determinations about how you can help. I would add one more piece to the idea of doing it with a job description in the AI. You need to do company research too. Do some research online about what the company is going through, because that will also tell you additional problems that they may be facing. And when you're doing your research in terms of interview prep, talk with people at the company, okay, or people who've recently left to see what kinds of things they're facing with and what's going on.
Okay, thank you. I wrote it down.
And Linda, to that extent, that's where I was using Perplexity as a research tool for those companies. So I would say if you have a subscription to that, you could do a lot more searches, but that gives you a lot more in-depth research on that company. And probably gets you most of the way there, trying to find those problems. So
Mhm.
the recommendation.
Absolutely. Okay, I see another hand up. Lori.
Did you call on me, Lori?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Misunderstood. I have two comments and then I have a question for Ken. In regards to PMP certification, I am a PMP certified project manager, have done it for years. I'm also a Six Sigma black belt, and here is my experience. Years ago, it used to mean a lot. It had a lot of weight on a resume. Today, not so much. During the pandemic, a lot of people were unemployed and they were getting recertified, and a lot of people went into project management. And so the market is flooded right now with PMP certification. In regards to cover letter, I have applied for a position recently, and the reason that the recruiter contacted me to schedule me an interview was she was so impressed by my cover letter. She said most people don't send in cover letters. And when I wrote my cover letter, I wrote it from just pure, authentic feelings of myself, why I want to work for the company, how I felt like I could add value to the company. And she was so touched that she took my resume out of the bunch and contacted me. I'm actually going to be going into my 5th interview for the position next week, Monday. So cover letters do work and they do grab attention. The question that I have for Ken is, what I've been hearing is what you just lightly touched on in regards to resumes for the future. What I'm hearing is that companies in the future you will go to the company website, you will put in your information, you won't apply for a job. And when the company has something open that they feel that is relevant to you in the future, then they will reach out and contact you. Is that something that you are hearing as well?
We talking about the fake jobs, which is kind of what this is, or there are jobs that are placeholder jobs for the future, and they're just kind of culling resumes. I mean,
It's part of that, Ken, but part of it is too, if you would like to be considered for future opportunities. Okay, so you're uploading a generic resume.
I mean, I
which-
really, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I know the answer is to try to work around what the company career sites tell you to do. Um, that's a whole different discussion entirely. I think I'm not a big proponent of applying online by itself. I would much rather find someone at a company, or I would much rather find someone that I used to know that worked at the company or something, because it's a numbers game. And the cover letter in your case definitely was something that stood out. I don't think the tendency now is that everything is going to be even that much more automated, and it's going to be less personal stuff, from rejections to everything else. And I think unless we as job seekers and HR people like push back, nothing is going to change. And I know that may sound a little counterintuitive, but we have to be the ones to kind of drive this train. Otherwise, this is the world we're all going to be living in.
Mhm. I think you're right, but let me give you a slightly contrary point of view.
Sure.
Is it okay? Are those people who have recently gotten positions that I know of? Okay, so I said we're up to what is it? 925 as of this morning. People applied directly. For the last 5 roles that I know about, all of those were direct applications. Now, does that mean that they didn't reach out to other people within the company? Yes. Okay. They did. Some of them may have done that after the fact, but not one of those 5 got into that role and into that interview process initially because they had a referral. Do the referrals help? Absolutely. Okay. The referrals help make sure that whatever information you're sending gets read, gets looked at. And in some companies, if you have that referral, and I don't know whether or not this is still true, but it used to be as of earlier this year, that if you had that referral, the recruiter was required to at least take a look and maybe do that screening call. There's so many people now doing it with referrals, it doesn't necessarily work that way anymore. But it does help. It does help you get additional information about the job. It helps to make sure that resume gets seen, but put it in the system. Companies are getting so flooded with applications, with people applying for jobs, and people are getting, from a recruiter standpoint, their metrics say I have to have people to interview to take a look at within the first 2 to 3 days. So if you're waiting too long, to try and get that referral before you apply, you may be overlooked. If you apply and get the referral even afterwards, okay, that will work to your advantage. The referrals absolutely help, Lisa, okay? But if you can't find a referral within the first 2 days and you're a good fit, my recommendation is not necessarily to wait until you find one. Ken, what do you think?
What I like to do from a LinkedIn perspective is I love to, when the jobs are out there, you can do a search for past 7 days, past month. I change the HTML code to the past hour.
Mhm.
And then I can find out the jobs that are posted in the past hour. And I actually should write a post about it again. If you change the code from, I think it's 32,400 to 3,600, whatever the number of seconds are, you're going to find the jobs that have just been posted in the last hour. And then if I was going to focus that, I would focus that on LinkedIn, looking at that as a job board. It's little things like that.
Right.
Because by the time something's out there, it could be filled with lots and lots and lots of people that have applied. You want to just increase your odds.
Exactly. And one of the things we are finding is that targeted resumes, targeted cover letters work. Even in this age of AI and all of these fake people applying, the more targeted you are, the more likely you are to be seen because I see how you match what I'm doing, what I need, what problems you can solve for me. It's not about what you want, it's about what you can do for me. And I know it sounds counterintuitive to say apply quickly, but still target. Targeting is important, but don't wait a week to target. Okay, you'd need to get in there relatively quickly. I would say within the first 3 days.
I would say the first day. I wouldn't even say 3
Oh,
days.
no, I agree, but I wouldn't wait. That's why I say don't wait for the referral before you go in.
Right.
Okay. I would also, however, not apply within the first hour. And I know that that also sounds counterintuitive. What we're finding is that in that first hour, the people who are applying really aren't people. They're either the bots or they are the generic resumes doing the easy apply.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to take you some time to target what you're doing for that particular role. So yes, if you want to do it you want to find the jobs that have been posted within that hour and start working on them right away, but don't worry about necessarily applying within that first hour.
Well, let me ask you a question, Linda, as a hiring manager.
Yeah.
If someone is available or is only looking for a remote opportunity, is that something that should be put within a resume, whether it's in a heading, within a branding section or not? Or is that going to be an assumption that the recruiter is going to make when they see a resume? Are they going to be turned off? I'm in New Jersey and this is a remote position. Are they going to be turned off by the fact that I'm not from the area? I mean, how can someone position that?
Okay, so 2 things. One of which is remote. You have to be careful because remote can be remote US. It can be remote within the state. And the reasoning for that, more than anything else, is federal labor and tax laws. If you are the only person that I am paying in New Jersey, Ken, and I have nobody else there, I still have to pay business taxes in New Jersey. I still have to file all the Social Security and other taxes in New Jersey. That's an added expense for me. If you are the third person in that area, it's not a big deal. So some companies will only hire people, even for remote jobs, in certain locations. So read that job posting quickly. Yes, it can also be global, but double check to see really where that is. If you are applying for a remote position and it is a remote job, okay, I would put in your skill section, remote experience.
No, and I've had some people put down United States instead of city and state. Again, not a right or wrong thing, but I'm just figuring out some best practices.
Absolutely. Okay, so I would say that that's absolutely the case that you can do that. And yes, if you're looking for remote only, you can say US in your terms of your location because it really doesn't matter where you are. Okay. Thank you all. I noticed we've got some people leaving. Thank you all for staying as long as you have. But I want to remind you before you sign off to copy the chat, and the chat up at the top of the screen where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn, there are 3 dots. Click on that and one will say File or File Save. So you want to do that. The other thing you can do is click anywhere in the chat and just do a Control-A, Control-C, and then copy it into a document yourself. I know I've been lax in terms of adding some of those things in. I've been going through some stuff myself, but I will add this to the private group. If you haven't joined the private group, please make sure that you do. Okay, but I will add this to our private group as quickly as I can. Okay, so the chat will be there as well. Sometimes the links stay, sometimes they don't. It's the LinkedIn gods who make those decisions, no matter how much I try. Okay. Other questions before we leave? And as a reminder, next week we have a guest expert, Dana Zellers, who's going to be talking about networking and how to find and use those connections. So that's important. And then the week after that, we're going to be talking more about networking, and then we're going to be talking about job search scaries, okay, to go along with Halloween. Charles.
Just surfacing a question that I think Carl raised in the chat, which is, as an older American white male and who's not a veteran, what's the position on answering those questions during the, application submission process versus saying prefer not to answer?
I don't even know whether you have to say prefer not to answer. I think you can just skip it.
Most of the applications I've seen have all said yes, no, prefer not to answer.
So I would either do no or prefer not to answer. To be honest with you, right now it makes no difference. The reason those questions were added initially, okay, was back when the ADA went into effect, however many years ago that was. And there were quotas, there were preferred ways of hiring people with certain disabilities or with certain areas. It's a section, honestly, that the company does not see. The recruit, I shouldn't say that. The company sees, the recruiter doesn't. It goes into a separate database, or it should. I can't guarantee that it does. But it needs to go into that separate database.
It's typically not a part of their decision criteria.
It is not a part of their decision
tracking metric.
Absolutely not.
But I would prefer not to answer.
I agree.
I had to pick, because what's the point?
There's no reason they need to know it. If you have an accommodation that you need, that's something different. So for example, I've had some people who have hearing issues, okay, and they needed separate accommodation. That I wouldn't even list there, but during the interview process, okay, there are things that you can say if you need it. But there is no reason you need to answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
And I think Linda is frozen. Linda, you are frozen. Well, I'm going to leave the meeting because I have a call coming up. Oh, there you are, Linda. You were frozen. I mean,
Sorry about that. What I said was there are some companies that are still doing hiring preferences for veterans.
Yeah. I'm going to be having to leave the meeting now. It's been great
Me too.
seeing you all. I put my LinkedIn URL in there. Feel free to connect with me. Linda, thank you very much for these calls.
Thank you, Ken, for being here and supporting us. And you and I will talk privately offline. But in any event, thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm going to go off too and see where we go. So as a reminder,
Have a great day.
here's where we are. I'm going to turn off the recording.